Okay, so you've got a SaaS business, you've got some revenues, and now you want to get to 100,000 users, but you don't have $1 billion in VC money to spend on ads. What do? So on this episode, I'm going to walk you through the exact growth hack that I use to amass 100,000 users for my last SaaS business, ToutApp, with not a lot of marketing spend. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you navigate the path to the next stage of growth, navigate the path to product market fit and beyond. So if you're new to this channel, I drop an episode every single Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. Also, if you're already part of our channel, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market program, welcome back. It's really great to see you here. Now, here's the thing. If you're a SaaS business, if you're just a venture-backed startup, period, one of the studies show that 40 cents of every venture dollar actually gets deployed towards advertising. That means that 40 cents out of every dollar that venture capital deploys into a startup gets spent on either Facebook ads or Google ads or Amazon ads, you name it, which is kind of crazy. So the question is, if you don't have a huge amount of money to deploy into ads, if you don't want to build that kind of business where it's just really, really expensive advertising that drives in, as soon as you turn it off, you no longer have any more users. If you just don't even have that kind of cash to deploy, what do? What do you do to get to 100,000 users? Now, I use this very specific growth strategy inside of ToutApp, and I've seen it used in other SaaS businesses very well, very effectively. So I'm gonna walk you through this exact strategy on how we got to 100,000 users at ToutApp without a lot of marketing spend. So if you're excited to dig in, I'm gonna walk you through the exact principles. I'm gonna smash that like button for that YouTube algorithm, and let's dig into principle number one. So principle number one, the first thing you need to do, and don't hate me for this, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna be like, what the hell? Trust me with this. The first principle is, who is my ideal customer? I know I constantly talk about building ideal customer profiles. If you don't have an ideal customer profile, be sure to check out this video about building an ideal customer profile, 3 things you didn't know about what you need in your ideal customer profile. I know I keep talking about it, but it's so important, but this is important, trust me. You need to get super specific about who is your ideal customer. You get super specific about who are they, where do they hang out, what do they use, what's their profession. You need to niche down as much as possible because the rest of these principles build on top of this. If you are really wide in your ICP, this strategy will not work. The narrower you are, the more specific you are, the more effective you will be in this strategy, okay? This is why I wanted to start with this. I know that I keep talking about ICP, but honestly, it really is principle number one in a lot of things for growth. So principle number one, who is your ICP? Get super specific. And I'll link to that video below. You can check it out after this if you haven't seen it yet. The second question you wanna ask, now you'll know why principle number one is important. The second question you wanna ask to employ this strategy is you want to ask who is already selling to my ICP, and it must be something complementary to what you are selling. I'll give you an example. So when I started ToutApp and I was figuring this out, I was selling software to salespeople, right? I help salespeople be more effective over email and then over phone and then over social. And so I was like, okay, who's already selling to salespeople? And they're selling something that's complementary to what I'm doing, meaning it's not a competitor. And it was easy for me because I got so specific. I was like, oh, cool, CRM vendors. And it wasn't just Salesforce, there was Highrise, and there was honestly a whole long tail of CRM companies that I used this strategy on. It was brilliant on how it all came together. So the second question is, who is already selling to my ICP? This is why you have to get super specific on this. The broader you are, the more watered down this will be, right? So you want to get super specific on who is my ICP and who is selling to my ICP. Once you have this done, remember, it has to be complementary, which means that if that company sells them this thing, there's some gap that they have now. They're like, oh, you don't know how to do this last piece that our software doesn't do, but yours does. It has to be complementary. So you make a list of that. Then, once you have those two things, then it's principle number three. Principle number three is you need to employ host-parasite marketing. Host-parasite marketing is an old school strategy. It's in a bunch of old school marketing books. I read it in a marketing book that I'm reading right now by Jay Abraham. Amazing marketing genius. Host-parasite marketing is what you're gonna use to actually drive to 100,000 users with these two elements. Now, before I dig into principle number three, I have some details on exactly what you need to do and what I did at ToutApp. Let me just pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the difference here? The difference here is that you're not just going out to Facebook and Google, and you're not just saying, hey, give me some people that might be interested in this. What you're doing is you're trying to figure out what are other companies that are already spending money to acquire these customers that would also be my customers. What are they selling? It has to be something complementary. Who are these people? Because you're gonna go and they're gonna be the host and you're gonna be the parasite. And I'll teach you how to be the parasite. Are you seeing the difference here? If you are, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm if you haven't already. Also hit me with a yes in the comments below if you are brave enough. I love hearing from you guys. Also share your comments if you'd like to. If you have some questions, put it down there. And then let's dig into how to actually implement principle number 3. Host-parasite marketing, there's 3 ways that you can actually deploy this, all right? Especially in software. This is an old school principle, but the rules are slightly different in software. I'm gonna teach you how to do it. So the first thing that you can do is you can do an API integration. Now, normally before, back in the days, let's just say you have a brick and mortar company and you wanted to do a partnership with another company, you'd have to go meet with them. You'd have to draw up a contract. You'd have to get special permission. Now, that has been completely eliminated for the base layer of partnerships for every SaaS business. Do you wanna know why? APIs. APIs are like the de facto open standard for doing a biz dev relationship. People don't quite think about it this way, but when you integrate into a complementary company, complementary piece of software, you're essentially entering into some form of a partnership with them. And you're adding value to your mutual customers. So the easiest way to get started on this is figure out who are these companies that are already selling to your ideal customers and figure out how to actually do API integrations into them. I did this on day 3 of ToutApp. I figured out, okay, Highrise, which was then owned by 37 Signals, they owned a CRM product at the time, it was Highrise. And I'm like, okay, Highrise has a lot of people that would use ToutApp because they're the CRM, they don't have any email capabilities, I do. So I integrated with them. I did a little Chrome extension where it would insert a button inside of Highrise. And I said, hey, here's an email with tout button. And now they have special capabilities for emailing right out of their CRM. And I would log the data back in. And I essentially did that integration and I built it all out and I created a little video explaining what it does. And I emailed it to 37 Signals. I kid you not, this is a real story. I emailed it to 37 Signals and I said, hey, I integrated into you guys. Here's the exact value that we provide. It'd be awesome if you can just promote this to your list. At that point, they didn't have a marketplace or anything, so they had a mailing list. So they said, totally. I think they had like 250,000 people on their mailing list. So literally on their next mailing list, all at the bottom, they said, hey, ToutApp integrates with Highrise. You can now email right out of Highrise and all your activities will be logged automatically. And you can track what's going on. And boom, just like that, ToutApp got exposure to nearly 250,000 people because I basically hooked into their open APIs. I figured out that they were complementary. I figured out they had a gap that they were never gonna fill, but I did. And I emailed them saying, hey, we did this integration, here's a video, would you mind promoting it? And boom, just like that, we got exposure to 250,000 salespeople, and that obviously led to a huge number of signups and conversions for our product. So the first one is API integrations. The second one is going into the company and hooking into their ecosystem or marketplace and forging some sort of partnership. This is how we did this at ToutApp. Again, it was massive for us. We realized that there was gonna be 2 big marketplaces that we really wanted to hook into where salespeople would be around. The first one was obvious, it was Salesforce. Salesforce had App Exchange, which is a giant ecosystem. And so we knew that, okay, we need to go hook into that ecosystem because a lot of our buyers are gonna be there. Salesforce doesn't have these capabilities and we need to get listed on that marketplace and we need to make sure that we integrate into Salesforce, and that way, from that marketplace, people would discover us and then sign up. That one was easy, that one was obvious. The other one was, we had a Chrome extension that hooked into Gmail. And so what we did was we got listed in the Chrome Web Store. And on the Chrome Web Store, we knew that salespeople were looking for certain things, so we optimized the SEO so they would find us, and boom, that Chrome Web Store ended up becoming one of our biggest generators of users that allowed us to get to 100K. Are you guys starting to get this? So the power in this is you gotta forge some partnerships and hook into ecosystems that these companies have and make sure you get listed in their marketplaces. And I'm gonna tell you this, all it takes is one strong marketplace. If you find one strong marketplace where your ideal customer, your ICP, this is why you gotta get super specific about it. If you can find that one marketplace where they're already hanging out, already buying solutions, you can optimize on that listing. That alone could be the growth engine that gets you to 100,000 users or more. That's the power in host-parasite marketing. And by the way, like I got to see the other side of this. Eventually, like once we sold ToutApp, I joined Marketo. And Marketo, as part of my SVP of strategy role, I was also SVP of alliances. And I owned like the Marketo ecosystem, which was one of the largest in MarTech, rolled up to me. So LaunchPoint was the ecosystem. There's this guy named Shai that ran it. He reported into me. It was an incredible ecosystem. And I saw on our side what it was like to partner with all these smaller companies. It was amazing for me to see how many vendors in MarTech really worked at the partnership and the relationship, and how many of them just didn't bother, and how big of a difference it makes. Trust me in this. There are people in these other companies that are paid to make sure that people enter into a host-parasite relationship. They want more software vendors in their ecosystem, and they want their customers to get more value. And sometimes they'll want a cut of that revenue, but still they want to extend and make sure the customers stay and are happy, because that's a strategic mode. So there are people that are paid to make sure you enter into a host-parasite relationship with them, which is why the partnership plus ecosystem play is super powerful. And then finally, the last piece of host-parasite marketing that you can employ is, and this builds on each other, is co-marketing and co-selling. Co-marketing and co-selling, this is when you can actually go into some of these companies and say, hey, listen, you have 100 salespeople and you're selling the customer product A, which you own. Now, I'll tell you what, product B, which I own, is actually super valuable. And if you sell it to them, the customer will get more value and they'll stick around more, and you actually can make some money. I'll give you 10% of revenues that you generate. You just have your marketing team and sales team include our product when you sell it, or you include it as part of some sort of post-sale process. And believe me, these kind of arrangements do exist and are incredible when they work, because what that means is that you don't have to build out your sales team. Your product gets sold by the sales team that's owned by that company. And that company is more than happy to do it, because they know if their customer is happier, they'll stick around longer, and they get a cut of your revenue, which will still be cheaper than you building out your own sales team. Are you guys starting to get this? So these all build on each other. The basic thing is build an API integration. The second thing is hook into their ecosystem and their marketplaces. And all it takes is one marketplace. And the third one is look into co-marketing and co-selling relationships. Now at ToutApp, we did API integrations, we hooked into marketplaces, and then we also entered into co-marketing and co-selling with other companies as well. The biggest spend that we ended up doing was Dreamforce for Salesforce. We went in, and that was essentially co-marketing. We went into their trade shows, we had our booths, we invested in their marketing programs, and they got our word out there along with their brand, which was super powerful. There was one point where we were like a 7-person company, and we had essentially negotiated a deal where we had 2 booths, 7-person company. People thought we were huge. Like, it was kind of crazy. We were just hitting 1 million ARR. We hadn't even raised our Series A yet, but it was so powerful, and that brand presence was so powerful. Our revenues grew even faster. We got an acquisition offer during Dreamforce. We actually got a Series A offer during Dreamforce. So all of these things work really well. So in conclusion, if you want to get to 100K, here's how I did it with ToutApp. Do host-parasite marketing. This is like an amazing strategy. It's a real growth hack that you can use to be successful. The way you do it is you get super specific with your ICP, figure out what are the other companies that are selling to that ICP already that's complementary to you, and then start with API integrations, ask them to promote you, then do a partnership and enter their marketplace, and then do co-marketing and co-selling. This is the lost art of biz dev, truly. We get so obsessed with giving 40 cents of every dollar to Facebook and Amazon and Google, we forget that there are other companies that would love a smaller revenue cut, when we can actually get predictive ways of selling to the customers that they already own that would love our product as well, because it's complementary. That's what I have for you today. I hope you got value from that. Now look, if you are building out your SaaS business and you're driving to that next stage of growth and you want more principles like this to build out a differentiated go-to-market machine, be sure to check out my 5-point startup growth strategy guide. In it, I go into much more depth into other principles on building a differentiated go-to-market engine and driving growth for your SaaS business. All you need to do is go to getunstoppable.com/strategy, or just follow the link below. If you got value from this video, please be sure to hit that like button, and also be sure to hit the subscribe button and that bell icon in case you haven't already. If you have a friend that would get value from this video, be sure to share it with them as well. We put a lot of effort in these videos, and the more you share, the more we can spread our good knowledge, the more we can make this community stronger, and that means the world to us. That's the big reason we do this. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is gonna be unstoppable. I'm TK. I'll see you in the next episode.